welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today is the woman who knows how to set personal boundaries, Alex Standy. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today.
And Alex and I actually are getting to do a second show today because we were a guest on another person's podcast earlier this week. Somebody who was actually a guest here on the show, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
And I have to say, Alex, she got more out of you than I usually do. I mean, I don't know what the secret is there, right? Well, you told me afterward. You told me afterwards because you were talking about you. Yeah, I get that. But we asked you to talk about you here too, and then you clam up. So I don't know.
Well, no. Also, I took your advice and applied it to yesterday's podcast. So,
okay, all right. So Then it's onward and upward. That's good.
Right.
I love that. Well, no, we had a great time though, and Cheryl was a wonderful host.
I definitely had a good time.
Yeah, so that was really, really good. And we actually have another podcaster joining us today. His name is Jay Matta. He's the co-host with his wife April of Spiritually Raw. Oh boy, I knew that was going to come out wrong, and it did. But there it is. Spiritually Raw, the ass-whipping truth. Ooh, boy, ouch, that just hurts to think about it. But yeah, Alex is loving it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
I think a swear word needs to be in everybody's title just to get the point across.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair point.
Totally.
Fair point. So, Jay, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks, Walt, for having me. Appreciate it. It's a great opportunity to chat with you. And
just reading up a little bit on what you've been doing, you guys have done about as many, maybe even more episodes than we've done, which is pretty darn good. It's a lot of that. Yeah, these guys have really been pumping it out.
Okay.
Which is really something.
We see you.
Give us like the potted biography, like the 2-minute autobiography.
Yeah. So we started off as a radio show about 10 years ago and just interviewed a lot of people then. And then, life took over. We, took a break for a minute and then regrouped back in 2019, was it? And we began nonstop in the YouTube world, which we'd never done that before because we were all radio. So we said, let's try the video side on. And, we got, so we did that. And this is where we're at ever since. So. It's been a pretty cool ride. Back then, we were talking about what were crazy events that people were like, whatever. Yeah, and we were laughing it off. Now it's almost like we're actually reporting on real life events right now. So it's kind of, it's interesting to see that all played out. But we've interviewed about 2,000 people, throughout the time, if you would, as far as what's going on, and really been a personal journey for me and April to really find out, hey, what gets someone through the next day. What's their journey and how can we learn from that? And, how do they figure it out? And maybe we can grab something and hopefully we can instill those messages to our audience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What you're talking about is one of my favorite things, learning other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Because they have so much to teach us. We just have to be willing to listen more than anything else.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's very cool. So, but what was the inspiration behind the title? Because like Alex is pointing out there, that's a pretty raw title. There's something going on behind that. There's a history to it. What is it?
So the ass whipping truth is really just digging deeper. I mean, going to the depths of wherever you got to go. You know what I mean? Because and really what we were meaning behind that is, look, there was a sprinkle of truth of everything being said or it wouldn't be said. Now, how much truth? Is always subjective, right? But there's always some truth. So to define something and say, this is the truth or that is the truth or that is not truth, I think is quite frankly naive. And so, for us, it's like, look, we don't know really ultimately, I believe. I mean, we can only speculate. This is my personal opinion. I don't really understand. No, I don't think anybody really knows why we're here or what we're doing here, but I think we try to figure out, make the best of it.
Right.
So we don't know. So for us to be able to just categorize or really come with conviction and say, this is one way, this is another way, like, wow, you know what I mean? I don't even know where that comes from. Like, how do you even process that there's not so many possibilities out there? So that's where we come from with that.
Yeah, very true. In fact, it often gets to the point where it's almost pointless to even ask that question just because you're dealing with all the day-to-day stuff. Now I'm supposed to handle the ultimate galactic questions as well. I mean, I could barely handle what happened with my Honduras today. I mean, right. It's one of those things. But, and of course, everybody has a different opinion about, what are our purposes and how did we end up here and all that kind of stuff. Some very interesting opinions as well. For myself, I'm beginning to buy more and more into the idea that this was pre-planned. By the same token, I also it's the same recurring thought that occurs over and over and over again. What the hell was I thinking? But yeah, but there seems to be a lot of evidence supporting the idea that why else would we put ourselves through this crap?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We're to do something. I think it's to enjoy the ride myself personally.
Mm-hmm.
After talking to so many people, it's the moment. It's the moment. Like what's out there, what's back there, whatever. It's the moment. And just enjoy the ride and make the best of it. I mean, again, from my perspective, I think if you do when you're doing the right things, you know what I mean? You know when people inherently know when they're doing the right things, they know when they're doing the wrong things. So if you're doing the right things and you're having a great time in this existence, I think that's the thing right there. Have a great time doing what you're doing for you and the ones that rely upon you the most. And I believe when you do that, energetically do that, I can speak from experience only is where I come from, is that I believe you attract a lot more in your life. You attract the things you want in your life because you're vibrating at, whatever one's concept of a universe is, but you're vibrating with that and you keep there. If you start to think about, what if tomorrow's looking like or what happened yesterday, you can never, it just doesn't work out well. It never ends well.
Very true. Yeah. As you were saying that. What's that, Alex?
I said you end up blocking yourself.
Yeah, you
end
do.
up blocking yourself, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. As you were describing the fact that it's a journey, I for some reason my mind was flashing to a video that I saw on LinkedIn earlier today, which is unusual because I almost never looked at social media anyway, and to happen to have seen that was kind of a shock all by itself. But it's a video of a father and a daughter. The daughter's probably about 3, something like that. And she's sitting in a laundry basket and the basket is on his lap, and they're looking at a video of riding a roller coaster. And
oh my God, I've seen that. So cute.
Have you seen that? Yeah. And as the roller coaster ride goes along, the dad is shifting the basket around to simulate the feeling of the ride on the roller coaster. And I'm thinking, oh my God, talk about getting it. You're right in the moment, living the journey right there in a virtual way. But still, that was pretty darn cool. That was wonderful. So, all right. Well, 2,000 people interviewed. That's a heck of a lot of interviews. I mean, we've done about 1,800 plus episodes here. So I know what it's like to do that. You don't do it all at once. You do it one at a time. But nevertheless, along the way, you learn things, you pick things up. Give us some highlights. What are some of the best, coolest stuff that you picked up interviewing people?
Number one is, it's really cool. For us, it's a very therapeutic thing. It really is. And I don't mean to be funny about that, but broadcasting, talking to people at that level is just the most incredible, therapy ever, right? So as far as what we picked up about it is just, again, really everybody's view. It's like we're not in, like kind of as I was talking about earlier, Walt, we're not really in any type of, everybody's got their own version. And I really believe, and I'm finding more and more about this is that people whether I agree with it or not, or whatever, it's like people have their own stream of consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. So we're finding out whether they think they're the next, they're Jesus Christ incarnate, or whether they think they're an alien or from some sort of ship or whatever. I mean, that's their thing. And for me to say, hey, so for me, it's like, I look at it all as like, I look at it pragmatically, like what can I learn from it? But I also get very amused by it and just really enjoy that experience. So my whole thing is not to take any of it too seriously. You know what I mean? Just to learn from it and look at the person, feel the energy from the person, see if they've got good vibes, and hey, how are they doing it? And that's really what I get out of it every time. I get out of it like, how are they doing it? How are they getting through the next day in life? What gets them going? What makes them happy? Like what makes them get through there? And it's just more of a, not so much what they believe is, but how the intention, if you would, behind what they're doing. It's really what I keep getting out of this thing. I mean, I've dealt with everything from the atheist to the Satanist to the everything in between. At the end of the day, it's really the passion behind the message. You know what I mean? And what gets them up the next day and says, okay, look, you know what? I'm going to have the time of my life. I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to manifest everything I've ever wanted in my life. And they do it. So that's what I look for. You know what I mean? I find out who's that, because that to me is at this juncture in my life, I'm 51. That's what I look for. I'm looking for, hey, what are you doing? I mean, what's your spirit doing? And how's it getting through this universe? I want to know.
Excuse me, sir. I'm calling you a liar. There's no way you're 51. You look like a strong 40, maybe. Like, I don't believe you. I need to see some ID.
Alex, I love you. I tell you. Hey, you know, I take this stuff called ASEA. I'm telling you, this is my magic bullet right here.
Ooh.
This is it's truly it came to us about 9 months ago. But I got to tell you, I've been taking that.
Mm-hmm.
You led me into it. I've been taking it, but I got to tell you, since I've been taking it, I truly feel like I'm in the body of a 20-year-old. You know, I'm mind, body, spirit, prosperity, everything. I mean, I'm on point. You know, so it's amazing. And thank you very much for the kind words. God bless you.
What is the stuff? You can't just leave us hanging like that. You got to tell us what this bottle is. We see this blue bottle.
I need links. I need information.
So, you know, as a show ourselves, what happens is that, you know, people send us stuff, and I'm sure, like, you guys, you know, they're like, hey, can you promote our stuff, right? So, someone sent us this, and they talked to us about this, and what we realized is it's not another lotion, potion, or shake, right? It's a cellular signaling is what it does. So there's no nutrients to it. So what we found out about it is there's the only technology that actually gets the cells to start to talk to each other again. So when someone like myself was taking like 7 or 8 supplements and saying, okay, I'm doing this just so I can maintain how well I feel, I was still getting very frustrated because that's still 7 to 8 supplements, a lot of stuff to take, right? And you can never figure out what you're taking or what's working, so you don't stop anything. You continue to take it. Mm-hmm. So when I started taking this, probably within the first 2 weeks, my intuitive compass kicked in and said, okay, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that. Keep this. You know what I mean? Kind of thing like that. Because my cells were starting to work at optimum performance at a level that was just completely off the charts. And so I knew now I'm down to 1 supplement, but organically. It's not like I tried to. It just happened. I feel so good on it. My favorite part of it is something opened up, really. And I have to say this, my intuition, like my stream of consciousness to the universe. I remember saying to April, I was like, man, I'm seeing in panoramic. You know, I'm really feel very tapped into my stream of consciousness. Like I've always felt like, you know, we're strong on manifestation, but it's like next level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? I got it. You know, cause it's like, so we actually did a show on it. We call it the Elixir of the Gods.
Oh, wow.
That's where we feel like it came from. So in that show, it wasn't just a woo-woo show. We actually interviewed one of the doctors on the medical board and a biologist and said, what the hell are we taking here? You know what I mean? Explain this to us. And, you know, they did. And, you know, so it's been a game changer. So it's been a real passion for us as far as that, because it is really literally helping people live younger, longer, whatever they got going on, because it's working at a cellular issue. And so we feel like it is the missing element that so many people are searching for. So,
well, now what's the name of the product?
ASEA, A-S-E-A.
A-S-E-A. Okay.
Yeah. We call it the blue and the white.
The blue and the white. Yeah. Well,
blue, you drink it,
bottle.
The white you rub on you, and there you go. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So it's like a two-step process.
Yeah. So it's like, this is like, you rub it on. I mean, I put it on my face, my hair, you know, and, if you look at my videos before, I didn't have as much hair. I just rubbed it right on my hair.
Really?
And, yeah. Just,
very cool.
All of a sudden. And, that's all I'm taking. So I know it's it, you know, and this works, you drink it and it works from the inside. But, so many people, I got to tell you, like, there's just a trend. Everybody taking this always says consistently, you know, they at least feel 20 years younger, 30 years younger. They actually feel it. Like, there's no inflammation. They don't feel the joint discomfort. I don't feel any of that. Nothing.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think so.
Found it on Amazon. It's not even that expensive.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'll send you a link.
I'm already way ahead of you all. Way ahead of you.
I'm
also curious to know, you said it doesn't contain nutrients. So what does it contain?
So it's salt and water is what it does. But when they put it through its chemical, whatever they do to make it, it does not, because it's not salt and water. You know, that's the only 2 ingredients that are used. It's been, and goes through its process. And what it does is it stabilizes the molecule. So check this out, for example. Best description of it is, imagine being born in this lifetime, what we are, but we have 1 tank of gas, right? So whatever our creator is said, okay, you got 1 tank of gas. That gas is called redox, okay? And so we all have that redox. So what happens is that redox is the ability for the cells to start to talk to each other, to let the immune system know, hey, they got a problem over here or over here, go and fix it. Like, I'll get all the workers to fix it. Once you hit puberty, the redox now starts to go down. The dying process starts to begin. Okay? So what happens is down, 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 down. So like if you're 13, your redox level may be here, but if you're, 50, redox levels here, right? So what this is doing is the first time ever we've been able to experience, it's now bringing those redox values up to here, which is why there's such radical anti-aging benefits to this. Okay, so it's bringing it back to where you were. So you bounce back, your recovery time's quicker. Like I said, you don't have the thing, you're active, your mind is sharper. My 82-year-old mother, she's here. She says I can always use her as a testimony. She just got out of, she was in chronic pain, 82 years old, chronic pain, always in depression because of the pain. 2 months ago, I just had her on this. I'm like, try this, because I give her everything that some people send us on the show. Try this, and next thing you know, she's like forgetting to take her stuff. I'm like, well, don't forget it. She's like, well, I don't feel like I need to. So the next thing you know, no more, like she's happy all the time.
Wow.
So something turned on. So whatever age people are feeling in, I mean, there's so many remarkable results. So we have our show Spiritually Raw, but we're super passionate about helping people live younger, longer. So we found that and feel like, again, we got pretty blessed with it to know about it.
That sounds very cool. I'm going to have to check into it as well.
Yeah,
I definitely need some of that.
Yeah, for sure. Reach out to me. I'll help you guys at it. It's really good. It's one of those things that, I will say this to you, LOA today kind of thing like that. It's, it keeps your vibrations there. You're always vibrating here. There's none of this. There's none of this. So if you want something, the context of it is to vibrate and sustain it, right? So the key is always to sustain it. And this always helps you sustain it.
Very interesting.
This could
I'm
be
really intrigued. What's that,
could be
Alex?
also a negative thing too, because if you're vibrating that high, but you're not like mentally, you know what I mean? Like you could manifest some horrible shit.
100%. You absolutely can. No, you're awesome. You're absolutely right about that. And you can. And we tell people that too. Just be careful what you ask for. But generally what we're finding out is when they are taking this, it's like a happy pill too. People are pretty happy for the most part because whatever they're going on there kind of got fixed. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And today's wild too, isn't it? The energies today is like everything is just easier.
Yeah.
Like everything does come a little bit faster than it ever did.
Very true. It's throwing a lot of people off, but for those of us who understand what's going on, it totally starts to make sense.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting that you were describing it as a way of reconnecting the cells, of making the cells communicate in a way that they didn't communicate before. That kind of led like a couple of little thought patterns in my mind, and I'm not sure which one is actually the accurate one, but the one that's kind of in the lead, so to speak, is the idea of epigenetics, the idea of a sort of I don't know how you want to describe it, a field around all organic tissue that enables that organic tissue to communicate with other organic tissue through that same network, so to speak. And I'm kind of thinking, is that what they're talking about? Of course, these are medical doctors, so the medical doctors may or may not be buying into the epigenetics. I don't really know, but it kind of makes me wonder. Is that where they're going with this? I don't know.
Yeah, I tell you, it's maybe we're getting set up for the next evolution. You know what I mean? The next vibrational shift, whatever it is. But I feel like there's this whole feeling of a carbon-based body, a very dense, three-dimensional body, if you would. So I really feel like this is really helping transition or help propel to have that light 5-dimensional experience. Because I feel I physically am the same. I just feel a lot lighter. You know what I mean? I feel a lot lighter. My spirit, I feel like I'm, more like, walking on a cloud, if you would, versus
very
just
cool.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Now, and that's actually one of the things that I know you guys talk about on your podcast. It's on your website, the 5D experience. And that seems to mean something very specific to you. So I was hoping you could kind of tie us in. When you think about 5D, what does that mean to you?
So we did a lot on it over the last couple of years and asked a lot of people. And this, again, is our interpretation of what happened. So we heard everything from, there'll be a flash that'll come in. And once the flash comes, then those who are ready will go to a level up, go to a 5D experience. You have to have this going on or that going on, whatever. But what we determined is this from our own, again, I can only speak from our own experience, is that we determined that 3D, 4D, 5D, 10D, whatever D you want to live in is going on all day long, and it's just like how well do you adapt to it. So a lot of people are thinking still that there's got to be an event to happen to elevate your mind, elevate your body, your spirit. And we're just not seeing it that way. We're just not seeing it that way. We're seeing it as a way like, hey, you know what? I can get to 5D, and, then there's moments where I'm at a 3D, like, oh man, just whatever, you know what I mean? Doing that, right? Doing that all that goes along with, being in this human form. But the key is to understand when you hit that again and then go back up. And the more you know as far as when you're hitting it, the more you stay there. But I believe it's an ongoing thing. I don't believe it's an event. I don't believe it's again, my personal opinion also, only because I never want to disrespect anybody's views. But I believe it's not an event. I believe it's an actual just being able to understand that. I think what throws people off is it's the same thing. It's no different than the religious side of life, if you would, where there's a savior coming, wait for it, and then next thing you know, what is it, 22,000 plus years, wait for it, wait for it. Same thing on the metaphysical, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, wait for it. There's still the wait for it syndrome. So how's that working out, right? So, you know what I mean? If you take a look at the world, how's that really working out? So we're like, whatever, let's just take a look at trying on, bringing the 5D to us. So what we did is April and I talked about something. We coined a phrase called the 5D economy. And we said, okay, let's put this one out there. Let's put it to the test. And so that is by helping people that's by becoming abundant, by helping others become abundant. Okay. And really work in a stream of consciousness with them. Like get at that level and be like, look, let's set aside all egos. Let's set aside this, how good you are, how great you are. Let's get in a rhythm together. Let's see how this works. Okay. And let's see if we can function as a collective consciousness together. So we've been really taking that message out there, that train out there. For us, it works. We're seeing other people working that are collaborating at very different levels. There's none of the stuff. I mean, the whole thing about it is like, look, just leave it. It sounds easier than it is, but it is about, hey, you know what? Not disrespecting belief systems, but realizing that, hey, there's a real possibility. It's more of a possibility that we are connected than everything else we're talking about right now. So let's try on what I think is the best possibility we got, and let's work with that we are interconnected. We're not separate. There is nothing that defines us. There is nothing. We are there. We all came here for whatever reason, why, or where we planted. Who ultimately knows, but we're interconnected. I mean, and that's what it is. So let's work with that interconnection and see if we can strengthen ourselves. So that's the route we're going, and we call that the 5D economy, which is, i.e., tied into what people want and need in their world is prosperity, whether that's, physical prosperity, financial prosperity, whatever that may be,
Okay. So let's ask and answer the impossible to answer question, but especially since we're talking in a 3D world, but, let's ask it anyway. What is the 5D experience like?
It's manifesting. It's heaven on earth. It's creating it as having the time of my life. I mean, I literally, right now, since I started embracing this, and I've always been blessed with great stuff in my life. And, I've had my struggles like anybody else. Believe me, ups and downs, and you learn from it. But I will tell you this, it's pretty much whatever, since the 5D world is like, kind of like, I go to wherever I want. I travel wherever I want. I do my things. And it's like, for me, I've had a different association with money. And let me share it with you this way. So I start to trust my consciousness, my spirit a lot more. So for example, we went away to, place for the summer, and it was like right outside of Miami Beach. And we're like, let's just stay there for the summer. And it was like, the concept of it was, well, it's just money. Just make more of it. It's just money. Like it was the attachment to it. You see what I mean? That was being released. It's just money. It's nothing. Just make more of it. Just make more of it. Like, just like you eat more food or just like you do this. It's part of something that the universe came. So for us, the 5D experience is like, you know what? You've given us food. You've given us water. You've given us a body. You've given us these other things. So why do we have such a struggle with the money piece of it? Everything else seems to be abundant. People overeat. Why can't they overly be paid? You know what I mean? So let's try that kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? People overindulge, but why does that one thing seem to have the thing? So what we did is we took that same philosophy of indulgence, because when people inherently want something, they get it, they overeat, they overextend. So for us, it's like, well, look, the universe gave it to this. They're printing a press. Let's just take it as the universe goes with it. And we treat it like that. Since we started that attitude, that try on, if you would, and I'm not saying being irresponsible with it, I'm saying, but just being able to know that it's there, it just flows. It's just so much more effortlessly. The physical embodiment of it is, a lot stronger. You know what I mean? You're just more in spirit. You're connecting with people. You're meeting people at a telepathic level. Life is just better. Life is just better because you take all the stuff off. You don't get caught up in the drama. You know, I mean, we all have families. We all have stuff. We all have people that rely upon us. And, you know, that's the circle of life. So just understand that nobody's got something that the other one doesn't have from that perspective. It's almost like I feel like we were given the same blocks, if you would, maybe different variations, and like, okay, learn how to snap them together. And I think that's what we do. So we look at that and we're like, okay, I think we can bring the heaven on earth experience here. I really do. I really believe we can bring in heaven on earth. I don't believe we have to die to get it. I don't believe we have to, we have to do anything. I believe we bring it here. I think we do. And I think we'll be rewarded and blessed for honoring that. I believe if you celebrate life, life celebrates you. I believe if you complain about life, you get a lot more of that also.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all have a little experience with that part.
I mean, I'm not like I showed up and started talking about this. I was like, all right, so
I don't know if I can do 5D because, like, I can't leave the drama behind. I love my reality TV shows. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I got you. It's a different version of 5D.
It's acceptable. Okay, cool. I'm in.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I do see it, and I'm witnessing it, not just in our own lives, but other people's lives. I'm seeing them. They're like, wow, I'm making more money. Wow, I feel better. Wow, it's just things are better. And it's like, so we're just, for us, it's the key to it is constantly talk about it, because you're manifesting it. You're giving it energy. You're vibrating it, which is why we have a show in which we always tell people, like, look, if you want something, get a show. Because that's the ultimate way, in my opinion, to manifest, because that's how you learn to talk. You learn to talk about it through having a show like this. So that's, I believe in that wholeheartedly. That's what people say. How do you get what it is? I say, get a show.
I agree with that.
Write down, and don't spend a lifetime writing down your notes or putting in a talk about the shit. You know what I mean? You'll get it out there. You vibrate it out. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You're reminding me also of, a gentleman who he's sort of an Esther Hicks. He's a channeler, and he was actually a co-host of the show for a while. He's a frequent guest since then. And one of the things, his Abraham is called the Stream of David. And the Stream of David has also been on the show many times. And one of the things that they have talked about is, that there is sort of a trade-off in being high vibe all the time, in that it can actually get a little boring. And in fact, on his most recent visit, he talked about that specifically directly to us, not as, not channeling the Stream of David, but as David Strickle. He was describing how he had been in such a high vibe state for such a long time that he was missing the drama. And so he was allowing himself to dip down a little bit just so that life would get more interesting, because it gets boring when everything is just flowing so swimmingly. I was curious to know what your take is on that.
I totally agree. That's why I think it all happens at the same time. I think, when you get enough of, like your friend, you get enough of 5D, you dip down a bit and, get that and then say, okay, let me go back. You know what I mean? Or let me, you just go through it, and I think it's all here for, I don't know any other reason or explanation, but I think it's all here for us to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever created us. But I mean, I think it's all here for us to experience the whole things. Hey, you know what? Maybe we are the real legit gods and goddesses of this whole thing. And I don't mean from a worshiping standpoint, but I mean from a point for us to say, look, maybe we're super bored in the cosmos, and we said, let's go down here and check this shit out. And let's see what this is like here. Maybe that's what we done, and see what it's like here, because we have nothing else to do with our times.
Well, I mean, that's one of, I'm going to be kind of channeling the stream for a second here, repeating some of their stuff, because I think they express this so nicely. They explain that the main reason we are here is for expansion, for the expansion of all that is, expansion of knowledge, expansion of experience, expansion of everything. And when you think about it in those terms, well, yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense that that's why we would come here. They also describe this as being the equivalent of a weekend vacation. This lifetime, in the context of eternal beings, this is a weekend getaway. Yeah,
it is. It is. I mean, I think there's, there's just so much. We see it all the time, just being in that world, and I know you do. But it's like, this is coming, or that is coming, or this is happening, or that's happening, and blah 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 blah. I mean, you hear every version of it, like And again, I think if there's a concept of dark energy or dark forces, that's it. It's the communication of keeping people off the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really is keeping people off this moment that is where the magic happens. You know, by telling them, hey, wait for it. No, not this weekend, next weekend, in this year, that year. You know what I mean? This is coming in 2 weeks. That's coming in there. And now, you know, that's where it goes. That's where your mind goes. And it just doesn't, I mean, I look at it from a pragmatic point of view. There's a lot of people in this world, and I see what's working for some, and I see what's not working for a lot of people. And a lot of it is those kind of, you know, not everybody I talk to that really feels like they are living a life that, you know, boom, they feel like they're living their bliss. It's about the moment for them. You know, they live in the moment. They take care of their business, but they live in the moment. They go in the now. They live in the moment. They go in the now. They don't overthink the other stuff, you know, because it hasn't happened yet, number one, and it already happened, number two.
Mm.
And as Alex was pointing out earlier, I mean, many people, I would even say perhaps close to all people, come into this world because they like the drama.
Yeah.
The drama is what, I mean, Alex loves the drama, right?
True story.
You're all about it,
Only
right?
on TV, though, not real.
Well, that's entertainment. That's different.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's entertainment. That's just more like, you know, that's kind of, I agree with you, Alex. That's fun to watch sometimes. That's entertainment. You know,
I'm not gonna lie though. If somebody comes at me with a juicy story, I am going to answer the phone. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. I love a good tea spill.
And I think that it's also important to remember that that's still vibrational. I mean, yes, we're observing it, but the moment that we observe it, we're part of that vibration. So in a sense, we are living the drama, even if we're doing it vicariously.
Yeah.
And we like that. We really do. We can't get enough of it.
For sure.
I mean, look how much drama there is in life.
Right.
You can't even find a field where there isn't drama.
Right. Just a little bit. I think we're going to get through it. I mean, we're going to, you know, the best thing I think we can offer to each other is lead by example, you know, and I don't even, you know, it's just show me, you know what I mean? Show me instead of just talking about it. Show me how that works for you. Let me see it.
Right.
Let me see it. How are you doing? Okay. I see you're doing something with it. Okay. Then I'll do it. You know, if I don't, it's word. Other than that, it's just, you know, it's words.
Yeah.
You know, and actions speak louder than words, I think.
Agreed.
They certainly do.
You can't talk about it. You got to be about it.
Talk about it. Can I write that? Can I take that out?
Don't talk about it. Just be about it.
Got it. Thank you very, very much.
Anytime. I'm here all week.
All right.
You can see why I like to have Alex on the show. She has these tidbits that come in and they're just, ooh, yeah.
I'm a big ball of fun. Everybody can have an
Well, that's why I do. I mean, this is very straightforward. We also have another co-host, Jay, who has been traveling for the last few months, so he hasn't been able to be here. His name is Dan Mangena. And when he and Alex get going, not only do we have all these tidbits come through, because he's also a generator of these wonderful truisms and aphorisms and so forth, but the two of them have a dynamic that goes on.
Oh, you got it. You got two of them going on. Huh? I got you.
So, I mean, like the energy, talk about the energy flowing between the cells. We have the energies flowing between the microphones.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, we were low-key best friends in another life.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you, I just, you know, being, and I hope people watching this get this, but just, it's this, and this is it. I mean, if you think about it again, I know we talked about it just a little bit ago, but it's truly as simple as this. It's about getting together in these kind of platforms and just talking to people you have mutual admiration and respect for, and just getting in a rhythm and vibe. That's just what it's about. And then you know, none of us are thinking about 5 minutes from now, or, well, you may be because you got to shut your show down, whatever, or that, but you know what I mean? But we're not really, we're in that moment, and that's what it is. It's like, and then it just keeps your brain. And for us, you know, we talk about it. It's like people ask, like, why do you do it? It's like, you know, number one, it keeps us in the moment. It helps us manifest significantly. It's highly therapeutic. It connects me to source. This all connects me to source.
Plus, it's freaking fun.
It's
so much fun. Yeah, who gets to do this? I mean, this is cool. This is like the coolest shit in the world to do, you know? It really is.
It really is. You just, there I am.
it was a surprise for me because, I mean, when I started LOA Today, and Alex has heard the story many times, and I won't bore the audience for hearing it, you know, for the 150th time, but at the time that I started, I was in desperate straits and I didn't know how to get out of it. So I literally brought in experts to appear on a podcast to teach me. And that was the whole purpose. it wasn't until I started doing the podcast that I loved it. That was the surprise. That was the gift that came out of it. And I said, whoa, this stuff is great. Yeah. Like you said earlier, everybody should be doing this. This is fun.
You have to be. You want healing, do it. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I can't figure out another way. And I'm pretty resourceful. I feel like I'm a pretty resourceful guy, that I would find some easier ways, but this is the way. You know? Show me the way. This is the way. You know, plug and play. You know, that's all you got to do. Start talking. Get in the rhythm.
Talking and listening. It's both.
Yeah.
It's the interaction.
It's the interaction, isn't it? Yeah.
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 Because when you have that interaction, what you really have is what I think that product, the ASEA product, is all about. It has it's connection on a, I don't care what level you want to call it, spiritual, emotional,
cellular,
angelic, cellular. Yeah, they all have pretty much different ways of describing the same thing, but it's connecting, and through that connection, communicating through the connection. It's not just verbal, is what I'm trying to say.
It's interesting. A lot of my counterparts that are have shows and they do this, and they have different versions for this, and they're all experiencing the same thing. We called it Elixir from the Gods. Some people are calling it the God Power Spark, the GPS, if you would, the God molecule. I mean, everybody's relating it to some sort of. It's interesting because I've never seen a product, if you would, that's been related to a religious or spiritual experience. You know what I mean, that you get, and that's how it's been related to. It's opened up something. I don't know, maybe like an ayahuasca experience without a talking tree or something. I don't know. But that's what it kind of feels like. You're very, very, very aware,
and maybe a little bit less traumatic, which would be a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less traumatic. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we don't have enough drama.
Right.
It's how do you balance it, right? How do you?
My husband wants to go on an ayahuasca trip so bad. I'm like, why, bro? Get high and wander around in the woods. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. I was on the fence of it too. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Cause I got some good friends that do these retreats, and it's like, I don't know. I'm like, I got my memories of my days, and the ayahuasca experience doesn't feel like one of those memories. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some pretty cool stuff that I can bring my memories to, but I don't feel like that with ayahuasca. When I think about that, I don't feel like I'm gonna have that same, like, really cool, like,
Yeah.
But that's the key word. What you just said is the key word, though. It didn't feel right.
Right.
It doesn't. At this point, anyway. You never say never. Make it up. Who knows?
But the reason I say that's the key word is, with all of the stuff that we talk about, yours on your show, here on this show, all the stuff we talk about all starts with feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about thoughts become things and all that kind of stuff, but really it starts with feeling and learning to kind of retap. I think that's where the real reconnection takes place. I think it's reconnecting with our willingness and ability to feel whatever it is that we're going to feel.
You're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, our societies have been training us for years to, don't feel this, don't feel that. That's not acceptable. That's not allowed. Don't do there. No, and no.
It's amazing we live in that world still, like 2022, and we still live in that world where it's so militant like that. It's so it's such a mind screw, what people go through, and you watch them and it's like, wow, that sucks. But there's still, and what's even more shocking is that so many people still buy into these things, and they still think, I'm just going to be a good little boy or girl and just kind of do this and whatever. And eventually I'll just, life will go on. And then,
What I've been experiencing, though, is appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm realizing now that all the people who are still living that way, they all have their different reasons. They all have their different experiences, their own stories leading up to it. That's one of the reasons that we like people having on our shows as guests, because there's all these interesting stories that come out of it. But whatever their story is, it's fascinating that they are living the way they need to live. They're eventually going to get to to the stuff we talk about. I mean, all roads lead here.
If they watch your show enough times, they will.
Well, even if they don't watch, even if they've never heard of LOA Today or Spiritually Raw, they're still going to get there eventually. It may not be this lifetime.
You would hope so.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's all roads lead to high vibration. Even the lowest roads, they eventually lead to high vibration. So it's all going to go there eventually, So to me, it's about appreciating where they are on their journey, where they are on their path right now. And I like to be available, if they're interested in getting help, trying to find their way or something like that. I'm certainly willing to be available to answer questions or, give them guidance or whatever it is they're looking for. But for the most part, I'm happy to just let them go their way and just say, you know what? They are where they need to be. That's part of being in the moment. That's part of being in the now. And the more that I've learned to appreciate that, the better I felt about the whole thing.
Did you? Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's beautiful.
Well, it's my way of letting go. You were talking about letting go before.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's healthy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I certainly don't want to attach all that crap to me.
No.
It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Because it's a lot, isn't it?
Oh, God, yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot. We got a lot of friends that are spiritual guides, psychics, all that whole world. Right? Like you talk to them afterwards and they're like,
strange.
They're just, they're what? They don't, you know what I mean? They're absorbing all that. So, yeah.
That's where you need to have Alex's personal boundaries. She's like the queen of personal boundaries. Like,
good
really,
for you, Alex.
She is excellent at it.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about that today. He's like, because he asked, he's like, how do you talk to when people reach out and stuff? And I'm like, you just got to set boundaries.
Yeah.
You got to figure out who, you got to let people know who you are and what your ability is or where you could be of value in their life. And that's who you are, But other than that, everybody, they're going to die. Look, inherently, people need someone that they need a place to vent or they need a place to do something, but you don't want them throwing up on you, all that energy. That's tough. That's tough. This is why I tell people to have a show. Get rid of it all. It'll get rid of it all.
It does. You have to have a commitment to grow. If your commitment is only to vent and to have people venting to you, you're not going to do a whole lot of growing. You have to be willing to make shifts in your life. But if you're willing to make shifts, the sky's the limit with this kind of conversation.
I believe so, yeah.
Format. It's amazing what you can do with this. It really comes down to where do you want to be? How do you want to get there?
Yeah.
That's it. If you can answer that question to some degree, you don't even have to have the whole answer. But if to some degree you can answer that question, then a format like this is going to produce wonders.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
And you'll work it out. If you don't know what to do, just start. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were talking about it with Cheryl, the host of the podcast that Alex and I were on yesterday, about how we now live in an era that is quite different from the era of, say, 20, 30 years ago, where it was TV dominated and, it was all about, being on Oprah or, something along that line. It's an entirely different set of media these days because everybody has a microphone. Everybody has a YouTube account. Everybody can use Zoom or StreamYard. Everybody has all this stuff right at their disposal. So
literally at their fingertips.
At their fingertips, right.
Yeah.
Which means that the entire dynamic of how the whole thing works has shifted. And most people haven't figured that out yet.
I know, but anybody can be a superstar now. Anybody can be a superstar. That world exists. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
That world exists.
And the superstardom isn't necessarily what it was years ago, where it was about, being the famous Oprah Winfrey. The superstardom today is about being the best you can be, which is ultimately what Oprah was trying to encourage everybody to do. Yeah. But now everybody actually has the opportunity to do it, right, Alex?
She was after her time.
Yeah, he was very much so. No
literally, he was Super Soul. Still is. On.
Yeah, cool stuff right there. So you've been doing the Spiritually Raw for 10 years now. You and April. By the way, how did you and April come together?
We owned my background is financial services, so I had an insurance agency and a money lending company, and so did April, but we didn't know that when we met. Okay. And so we met. We're both from Florida, but we actually were at a convention in Texas and met in Texas.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Florida. Hey, me too. One of those things, and there we go. And then next thing you know, we we did our business. We had a business together. So we started off as business people together, partners. Then the relationship evolved, obviously, from there. And then so that was kind of interesting dynamic in it. But we went in boom, here's who we are. Here's how we do cultivate cool things. So we started off like that. And, and so then from there, it just really became we were able to make money, and we were just like, okay, this is kind of cool, but, do we see ourselves selling insurance forever? And I don't think so. I don't want to. And so, let's just figure out a different way. So then about that time is where the internet was starting to kind of get its groove on, its rhythm. So we were like, we probably should figure out this internet thing. You know what I mean? If we're going to grow with things. So that's what we did. We sold our agency, and took a little bit of time off to figure things out. And it was when you have nowhere to go or you don't know what you're going to do, you become spiritual very fast. So Spiritually Raw was born. So it was like, okay, well, let's got to figure this stuff out. Let's see if we got it. And we were looking at it from that perspective, and it turned into something. So that was pretty cool. So that's how we met. This is what keeps us, pretty tight. And, we're doing this together. It's a fun ride,
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun ride. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a fun ride. You get in the rhythm together. You just find out. You go every day you go through the journey together.
Mm-hmm.
Never knowing what you're going to do. And, it's not mundane. And that's what we did commit to, is that we just didn't want to live the mundane. We didn't want to live the process of life. You know what I mean? We wanted just the things, you know what I mean? And we got, we got people that are, rely on us, and, they're taken care of well. And we're responsible. We also want to, share with them, like, hey, it's a great universe out there. It's a great life out here. Let's figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like something that you want to keep doing for quite some time. So I'm going to ask you the unfair question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just, going. I don't know. That's a great unfair question, isn't it? I don't really know. I don't think about it. I think, like I said, I think about this minute, and I think about how to have it go, and just be it. And for me, when I think about it and I put it all into this minute, the next minute seems to be better and better and better. And if it gets worse, then I understand how to react to it to make it better. So, 5 years, I mean, I would hope that, more people know about Spiritually Raw, like anything from that standpoint. I would hope more people know about this. I hope the whole world is on ASEA. I really do, because I believe everybody in the world does need it. And I don't mean that from anything other than the fact that every living cell in the world needs to replenish their cells. So it is what it is. It's at this point in time, it is what it is. So I hope that everybody else in there. So I hope to see that in the coming times. I hope I hope I'm a voice to be able to really help people get to what they want in life, and get them to realize that, life is, doesn't need to be always taken so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just have really a good time with it. Just try it out. And I always tell people this: try on just for 30 days this new version of you. Just see how it feels, but watch what happens in 30 days.
Right.
That's very good.
Just 30 days of your life. That's it. Don't give it forever. Don't give it 60. Don't give it 90. Don't give it 30. 30 days of not doing the stuff that causes you aggravation. Give it a rest for 30 days. See how it changes. Personally, again, getting back to this probably about 100 times I've said this on your show, but try doing a show for 30 days in a row. You're pretty much almost guaranteed you'll never recognize yourself again.
That's a very interesting
That's
point.
true.
Yeah. Very interesting.
How was that? I did that.
Yeah. You raised an interesting question, though, and I'd like to explore it for a moment. You actually expressed it as a hope, which was that the whole world tries to see a product and ends up discovering this kind of cellular connection you're talking about. But what if that happens? Like, if you were to kind of speculate on what that new world is like, where everybody's connected in that way, what do you see as being like the fruits of that kind of world?
Well, I see a lot of depression going by the wayside. I see a lot of suffering going by the wayside. I see a lot of families being a lot happier. I see a lot of parents that want to have the best for their kids, being able to get the best for their kids. So if they want to send them to the finest schools, they want to go to the best places, they're able to do that because they realize that none of this is quote unquote real, if you would. It's all I don't know necessarily you want to call it an illusion, because I can pretty sure I'm touching and feeling myself. So I don't think I'm an illusion. But it is part of the game of life. Mm-hmm. So just get what you want. And if you approach it that way, and it's an attitude, right? So I think what happens with ASEA is it just helps shift the attitude for so many. So if that were to happen and everybody, it's kind of like if everybody was there or most people were there, they just, they could get that. It's really a beautiful experience to watch people that can give the best to the ones that rely upon them the most, and see how rewarding that is. Because really giving at that level is just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it when you can do for your loved ones whatever you want to do for your loved ones. And I think everybody can strive for that. We all strive for that, whether people admit it or not. I mean, the biggest thing, I think the first step of it is like, kind of like an addict, if you would, is admitting it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are afraid to admit that they want that. They're okay with that. A lot of people do that because they're afraid of the failure of, what if I don't get it? What are other people going to say? So I'm not going to admit it. So they don't say it. And so they never get it. So I think the first step is to start admitting it and, you know, take steps. That, again, getting back to the whole why everybody should have a show, it gives you the courage to start. It gives you courage, right? I mean, you know that. You've done this enough times. Don't you feel more courageous than you did when you started? You know, I mean,
God, yes.
You know what I'm saying? It just does. It just makes you feel more courageous at what you do. So whatever, get the courage up. I personally believe that and I don't come from anything where I got it, and I don't have a college education. I barely graduated high school. I graduated high school because my dad did dry cleaning for the principal, and that's how I got out of high school. That's it. Anything else other than figuring shit out and figuring out, I was like, I better learn how to sell stuff. You know what I mean? And that was it. That's all I know. You know what I mean? So that's all. So I said, let me kind of work on that and my communication and try to figure that stuff out. But I will tell you this is that I hope and pray for a world where eventually people can, you know, again, you see the kids, the elderly, that they're all anybody, the people that you're responsible for, you can do your job for them. That's what I hope and pray. And you do it in a way with integrity, with dignity, with just absolute love and pride. And it continues to go, and it just creates a true ripple effect like that.
When I think about,
if that's what were to happen.
Yeah, I like that. When I think about what that world could be like, you know, what it would be like as more and more people achieve that level of self-connection and connection with others, I start thinking about all the different ways that human creativity comes out. I kind of think about it in terms of the Abraham Maslow pyramid, right? You get your basic needs resolved first and so on and so forth. And then you get to a point where, especially if you have a product like this that's helping you feel good most of the time, all of a sudden you're just creating like crazy. So what happens when you have 8 billion people all creating like crazy, creating in ways that they love and that are, you know, new and interesting and exciting. And then, you know, it's like this mushrooming effect going on across the planet.
One hell of a theme park.
Right?
Which is where we live, right? One hell of a theme park, you know what I mean? Go on the ride. Think about that life, though. Why not? Why not? Because nothing else other than being written, it's all speculative, you know? And I don't mean any disrespect to ways or belief systems. I don't. I really do believe that people inherently believe what they believe, but nothing, you know, until, again, boom, the ship drops, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know, all that stuff happens, and, you know, till that moment.
I just keep thinking over and over again, what we're really talking about is expanding human potential and realizing that expansion and doing it in ways that it doesn't require any strain or stress. It just becomes part of our way of being, our way of thinking. Right.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And work and try to strive for that. It's just a way of being. It doesn't, like, you don't think about things like that.
Right.
Well, if you want food, you go and eat food. You know, you want water, you go and drink water. So why not, again, think about if you want money, go and get money. I mean, why not? You see what I mean? It's like there's a connection there. That's something in the energetic force blocks something there. So we've got to figure out a way to unblock those things that stop people from having the best existence they could possibly have.
Well, I think we actually ended up thinking about money differently. Money just becomes a different kind of topic after.
I believe so. I really think that's it, Walt. I think it's just an association to it. You know what I mean? It's thinking about it differently really is helpful too. You know, not thinking of it as like a need, but as all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
It's just part of the process of, okay, I get the groceries. Here we go. Here's the money. Good. We're done.
That's
it. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
It's just an energetic exchange.
It's just an energetic exchange. Exactly. Yeah.
Because when you think about it that way, now all of a sudden it becomes easy.
Right.
Which is pretty darn cool. I like that.
I love it.
Hey, we are running out of time. I want to make sure we get. What was that, Alex? I'm sorry.
I said it's a simple way to get the block, that mental block that we all have about prosperity and money. For some reason, it's like we can't get past that. I don't know what it is.
No, it's the attachment. That's the best word we usually have to describe
True
it.
that.
We become attached.
Yeah.
Attachment programming, the feeling of, oh, if I make too much, then I won't have the friends that I had before, because I won't have the relationship with them, because we don't have the same things anymore. We don't have the same common feeling. We are not all broke together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, these are real life things that happen, and that hold people back. It's like guilt. Like there's a feeling of guilt over having it, and shouldn't be a feeling of guilt. You get it. Do good things with it. I mean, it's not like an elite. You can't take it with you. Do good things with it.
Right. You can't
do good things with it. Show people how to become abundant. You know what I mean? You know, you got a lot of money. Show them, hey, here's how I did this. Let me show you how to do it. Do good things with it. Keep a ripple effect going. You know?
Really good. Hey, one thing we got to do before we run out of time is we got to give people an idea of how to, first of all, find your podcast, find out more about what you guys offer through your website, how they can find out more about the ASEA. Give us like the lay of the land.
Yeah, thank you. So the website, SpirituallyRAW.live, it's a platform we have because we're always censored on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, SpirituallyRAW.live. Check us out there. They can go there. They can see all the videos. They click on catalog, and it's laid out like a Netflix, so they can see all the different styles of shows and interviews that we've done there. We're really big, as you know, and you probably already picked up by now, really super passionate about helping people have their own shows and things. So we actually have training programs. We call them the Secrets to Broadcasting Riches and the Secrets to Interview Riches, right? And so we teach people this. So if people want to find out more about that, how to get involved with that, my email is askspirituallyraw@gmail.com. And then, of course, ASEA, you know, they can reach out to me. I don't know if you can put the link in there, but same thing, they can reach out to me at that email if they want more information about the ASEA, and we can, you know, tell them what that's about and get them more information on that. You know?
Yeah, I'll get the link before you get the link from you before we're done here, and I'll make sure that we include that in the show notes along with the link to the website.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be good stuff. Hey, this has been really, really great. Thanks for joining us today, Jay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's truly nice. It's a great time. Thanks a lot. It was really cool to hang out with you two today. Thanks a lot.
And I make it a point to say this to all of my guests, and I'm loving doing this more and more, and it's going to be very true in this case as well. There are many people, especially for somebody like you and April, who have been, you know, reaching out to talk to so many people, but you'll never meet them. You'll never see them. You'll never find out all the different ways that you touched them, but you touched them and you gave them information that perhaps, you know, may help them to make a shift or help them to do something different or just to think about something different. And so on their behalf, I want to thank you for what you do.
Wow.
Because we never hear that, you know, but we need to hear that because that's important. That's part of this new 21st century thing, right? So yeah, on their behalf, thank you for what you guys do.
And you too. Right back at you both. Thank you very much.
And thank
Alex,
you for the ASEA information, because I currently am struggling with stage 4 thoracic endometriosis. So like I'm looking for things like this to help me out because it's a struggle.
I'll send you the info. Let's connect afterwards, and I'll get you all the info and you can show you the journey that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, likewise. Thank you very much. It's been an honor and privilege to be on your network. Thank you very much for bringing me into your world. Both of you.
We love it.
Thanks for coming.
So thank you guys very much. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.